So hello, everybody. First, the timer is wrong, so I would like to reset it back there. I would need more than 15 minutes. So my name is Nour, and I have been working as a developer for the last 14 years old. I'm old enough to remember the server room. The server room, for these one who actually remember, used to be hot, locked, few people could have the key for it, and it was so noisy. It was like almost standing next to a helicopter engines with all these fans running in the background. I remember the blinking lights with the Linux system. It was this like black screen that not many people can do it. I remember that I didn't dare to do anything when I was like just fresh from university. That was the real tech, to go into the server room, check all these big computers, and not touch any of it. In 2006, Amazon introduced the first cloud service. They introduced a very humble storage service, S3, if you remember it. And then Google joined them in 2008. And then Microsoft came in 2010 to join the party. For you who are old enough, you remember how did they sell the whole concept? It was just pay only for what you use. That was a perfect deal. They never tell you that you have to pay for the rest of your life. For a price, they will change anytime they want. But let's face it, I went from like using Linux, which I never really learned, for these people in the room who know me well. We jumped into UI. We just have like a little bit of clicks, dashboard, load balancers. We get auto-scaling, monitoring, logs. The services just exploded. I mean, we didn't know how much stuff we need, but once we saw it on these cloud services, these dashboards, we were so excited about it that we had to have it all. We could do so much deployments. It was like a piece of cake. Few clicks, here you go. We deployed a new environment. We have dev, we have test, we have a production, we have a pre-production. What not to? It's super fun. And suddenly, we all forget about the server room. No one even remember it. We don't need it. We have it all in the cloud. And I was happy with that. Until recently, they decided to build a data center in our little town. And I was thinking, this is cool. Why not? Let's build a data center in the town. And for you who don't know where I live, I'm living in the most beautiful area in Norway. We have the most beautiful hike. For any international speakers, if you haven't been doing this hike yet, please consider it. It's just beautiful. Back in town in Jørpeland, we don't talk much about servers or data or computer. We just chat about normal, simple things. But suddenly, it became a huge topic for town. They are building a data center. Everyone is talking about it. Go for training with our kids in football, people talking about the data center. Go to check the newspaper, everyone's talking about data center. And I was just like, what is this big fuss about? People are worried about the energy. How much energy does that data center built in the middle of the town will take? People worried about the fact that it's actually going to affect the grid that we have today. And apparently, there's a lot of water consumption and a lot of hot water that will end up in our fjord. That will take the temperature up to 2 to 3 degrees. And my first thought was like, yes, we can do more with the warmer water when we swim. Why not? Take it from 16, oh, not 16, let's face it, from 12 degrees to 14 degrees. But here's the clue. This is really bad for the blue fish. The whole ecosystem will be actually affected forever. So After that, I had to go again and try to find more information. Like, I felt obligated as someone working with data, creating that data, producing it all the time. Is that actually true, or is it just misinformation? And I did some digging. And to be fair, I had even more in my slide, but yesterday I discovered I just have 15 minutes, so I have to cut them down. But I will take you through 3 perspectives. We're going to talk about environment. And I understand, if you don't care about environment, fair enough. I bet you care about your budget. We're going to talk about that. And last, a subject has been published everywhere, not only in Norway. A lot of people discuss how dependent are we in Europe and in Nordic on others. So to start with the environmental perspective, we're going to dig into, quickly, the energy consumption, the emission carbons, how much water are we using, and how much are we straining the grid. So we start with the energy consumption. Today, actually, data center use 3% of the global electricity. You know how much that? This is how much France as a country only using. This is a lot. In Ireland, and that's really sad story because Ireland's struggling now, 21% of the whole country energy is going to data centers owned by Microsoft. So the country doesn't have enough energy for the different industry, they don't have it for the households, but they're giving their energy away for externals. In Norway, one Google data center is going to eat up 5% of the total energy we have in Norway. And if all the planned data centers in Rogaland, which is 2 now in my town, not Jørpeland, we're having another one in Tau, that will be 13% of Norway energy. And if you're not scared enough, let's go to how much emission we're going to use. We're talking about 2% of the global emissions in the world is done by the data center. This is the entire aviation industry. You know how they make us feel guilty about traveling and taking the plane? You don't need to worry about that. Feel worried about just scrolling with your phone because you're actually doing more damage to the environment. And of course, Richard talked about that yesterday. The AI workload is going to take this up 300%. It's going crazy. If we need that amount of data center now, it's going to be triple once the AI actually get into work. And just numbers, in 2012, we have 500,000 data centers in the world. By 2040, this is going to be 8 million. This is 14% of the global emission in the world. Water, I know, we need water to cool down these servers, apparently. How much water we use? Just 4 to 5 million a day. This is how much water a whole village would need for 1 day. And last bit, straining grid, I thought that's not a big deal, but it is. You know why? Because technology, as usual, exponentially, we are developing so fast, the infrastructure, the real infrastructure, is developing really slow. So, again, Dublin, sad story. In 2022, they have to put the grid on stop. So people couldn't have electricity into their new houses because this electricity we're taking to data centers. Don't panic. I'm not coming here to tell you that it's not a doomsday talk because I'm coming with some ideas. And if you remember one thing from my presentation, I would like you to remember that. 60% of all data stored in the world is dark data. What does that mean? That means it's collected, it's never used, never analyzed, it's never being used. And you know what? This is the extra environment you created. This is the backup of the backup that you created. This is the resources that you played with and you forget to create, delete. This is something we should be responsible for. So what we can do? Let's do the same as we do with the plastic. Stop boiling it up and just get rid of it. Developers, you need to code as resources matter. Every query, every API call, every log you add into your code matter. Collect less, compute less, store less. You just needed to be a better developer, not only for the code, and for the sake of the environment. And build deletion to design. When you have a project, and with this project we are planning things, we're adding new environments, we're adding in new resources, you need to have the deletion bar of it. You need to have a checklist in your team. Make sure that you clean up. Imagine that exactly like we are building a virtual world. You will not have a building, and they're building it, and then they will leave the leftover outside. But this is what is happening with the virtual world, because no one actually tidying up after themselves. And if you don't care about the environment, I totally understand. Not everyone does that. It's fine. But the environment is not only warming up the planet, it's warming up your CEO when they see their bills that they have to pay. The problem with the cloud expenses is not only it's much, it's unexpected. We don't understand it. You get a bill from Microsoft and you have no clue what does that mean. And the IT leaders from like statistic, 94%, they don't even understand what they're paying for. Of course, the cost is gonna expand with the AI. And you tell me, yeah, but I don't work with AI. Dude, you are playing with the Copilot within your system. That would cost your company money. Every single license you're using, it's costing money. There's a fewer provider, they control the price, they have less choice, because Microsoft decided to take the price for Denmark as a state 20% up in 1 year. That is a budget for 4.2 billion kron, Danish. And that means this is a whole annual budget for a university. So what Denmark did, they actually invested in open source, and they decided by 2026 they will not rely on Microsoft anymore. That was in the newspaper last week. So kudos for them. So this money is just being thrown out the window. What we can do, FinOps. If you didn't hear about it, Google it. It's not about using less data here. It's more about understanding what we're paying for, how are we using it. So we basically need to understand how does it cost us and where we can optimize it. We need to connect cost to a value. We need to understand that each feature, how much does it cost us? How much would it cost us to have a new user? Can we do something about it? And design for the flexibility. Stop getting stuck into your code, into specific provider. You should be open. You should be abstract. You should consider that you one day maybe come back to the on-prem. Maybe this is going to happen. Last big elephant in the room. We all know that all the cloud services is controlled by three companies in the world, and they are located in one country. And recently, this lovely country has been a little bit conflict with the rest of the world, and it's just giving us some indication that we have to keep our eyes open and have a backup plan if the shit hit the fan, maybe. So now, if you look to the news, now technology and a provider, like all these cloud services, it's not infrastructure anymore. It's politics, it's economy, it's power. And we need to understand that. And we need to do some action. I mean, I'm not saying let's leave the cloud, but I'm saying we should be able to leave if we have to. So here, again, we can do something about it. Open and unopen ground. When you build, use the open source tool. Try to use open API. Try to use format that can run anyway. You should be able to have ability to move on anytime you want. This is really important. Remember the server room? Maybe your company needs to get back to the server room. Maybe not. But you should be able to consider, are you going to cost your company loads of money just to get back to the basics? And something for all consulting here and developers. Choose skills over platform. We should not depend on certification for Microsoft or Google or other. We should learn native cloud skills. We should be able to deal with any issues that we deal with. I mean, all in all, I believe we started in the server room. We built all the way to the fjord. The question now is how much we're going to scale up. The question is, can we build this future more responsible? Thank you.